Well, thanks again for taking the time today to meet with me, TJ.
Yeah.
Sorry Madeline couldn't be with us, but hopefully I can talk you through the process and we can revisit all of this when we circle back up for the actual profile meeting. But today I just want to talk to you about how we work and how we open the door with our clients to be able to start the planning process.
Absolutely.
So before we dive into this, tell me a little bit about what you know about our firm and how you thought now would be the great time for us to meet.
Absolutely. I don't know much about your firm at all.
Okay.
As you obviously know, we're a young family. This isn't really an area that we've looked at before, talking about financial advising. And so, I was talking to Madeline a little bit, and we thought it'd make some sense to sit down and get some professional advice on this.
Awesome. Well, let me show you, this is our discovery brochure, and this is really the guidelines for how we do business and how we work with clients. First and foremost, we're both members at the same country club, and so I know a lot of the guys, and by that, confidentiality is key. You're not going to come up in water cooler talk or any of the things that normal circles that we travel in. Really, what we do is outside of my team, you're not really gonna have any information that's disclosed on any front.
That's great.
Everything that we do is a customized strategy. So while we follow a very formulaic process, because you're a young family and some of our clients are professionals that are years into the business versus school teachers or what have you, we take into what your goals are, what you're looking to achieve, and really come with an output design that's customized and tailored to your specific needs and what goals you're trying to reach.
That sounds great.
One of the big keys that all of our clients always bring up is, how do we get compensated? And so there's two ways that we get compensated. One is fees, the other is commission.
Okay.
Fees, think of that more like assets under management, or if we're making investment choices for you on an ongoing basis, making sure that your investments, assets stay in line with the risk tolerance that we'll uncover through this process.
Okay.
Commissions, those tend to occur when we place a product with one of the either an investment company or an insurance company. That company will pay us. When we go through this process, we're going to discover alternatives to get you to your goals, and we'll often say this is a fee-based alternative versus a commission-based alternative, and give you the option of what you're most comfortable.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, you're in the driver's seat. You're always in control.
Okay.
If going through this process you find that it's useful and beneficial, what I would ask is be open-minded and think of other people, other successful people like yourself and Madeline that would also benefit from it. And we'd love to earn their business as well.
Okay, that sounds great.
This is more into the philosophical realm of how we look at and place, put together a strategy or a plan for a family like yourself. So what we find is there's a couple of options or a couple of different approaches, the common approach and the professional approach to putting a plan and actually building up a balance sheet. What we find is most people will start a job, and day one they get a big folder with all of the benefits, and you have your 401k, your health, life, medical, all of that provided by the company. But really, they never give you the education or the resources and tools to make educated decisions on how should I invest in my 401k, how much insurance do I need, what are the factors that go around that. And so usually what happens is you're going to make some selections and you're going to do a lot of planning based on default. You're going to say I can contribute X number of dollars per week or month towards savings, and I'm going to do the best that I can based on what I can do at any given time, right? What we like to do is say, what are your goals? Establish a priority list of things that you definitely want to get done. In your situation, you have 2 young children, and we want to make sure that all of the priorities around your family are being met.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure if you've looked at college planning or any kind of risk mitigation around what would happen if either you or Madeline became disabled or had a catastrophic event, those types of things.
Yeah, I think we probably will need to look at just about everything.
Yeah. And so what we do is we take that approach of what are your needs and what are your wants,
Okay.
and how do we start there, reverse engineer what you've done to this point, and say, if you keep doing what you're doing, this is the likely outcome. Here are a couple of alternatives that will put you in a better position or help you achieve the specific goals that we outline in our upcoming meetings, and really make it all about you.
That sounds great.
Where would you say you land now?
I definitely over here. This is a space that I have not had much education around, and so I could use a lot of education, and just I need a big need to really start developing a plan.
Yep. And we see that all the time, whether you're just starting out or you're a CEO of a major corporation. What happens is most times, without monitoring and readdressing where you're currently at with your goals and lifestyle, you tend to come back towards this common approach. So it's important as we move forward that we're meeting regularly and discussing how life has changed any of your situation.
That's great.
So to do that, we have a method around this that is really a 5-step process. Today we're having a discussion just to understand if, one, what our process is, two, if we would be a good fit for you to take you through this process and really be able to provide value and advice to you and your family. So as we move forward from today's meeting, it seems like we've found a couple of key points where we could provide immediate value, and it makes sense for us to at least analyze your current situation, right?
Yep.
So we're gonna go from this initial meeting to circling up a time with you and Madeline to go ahead and put a profile together. And basically all that is looking at all of your goals, where you wanna be, and taking you through what we call the discovery roadmap, which analyzes all of the different facets of a financial plan.
That sounds great.
Okay. When we come back together, we're gonna find opportunities to work together, and a lot of that's gonna look like bridging gaps between where you wanna be and where you're currently at. And so what we're gonna do is come up with a strategy for each of those gaps and give you some alternatives on how to approach those.
Okay.
And at the end of the day, if you implement any of those strategies, that's where we'll take action. So
Okay.
we'll set up the accounts, manage the investments, maybe look at different tools for mitigating risk. From there, the most important part of what we do is making sure that we stay on track with all of your financial goals. So what we're gonna wanna do is set up regular reviews. And really, it's more of a TJ and Madeline review, right? Like, let's find out what's happened since the last time we've gotten together, what's changed in the geopolitical, economical sphere of investing and all of the things that are tying your financial plan together, and what's happened in your life, and make sure that we're still tracking the goals that we initially set. And if any of those goals have changed, how we can readjust or recalibrate to meet those new goals.
Okay. That sounds great.
The last thing I'm going to share with you are some of the key areas that we'll go over in the profile. So let's go ahead and mark any of these that are important. I'll kind of buzz through them, but stop me on anything that definitely hits a high priority list. So financial statement, we're basically going to look at all of the assets that you've currently built up and your cash flow, and really find out how much of that cash flow goes towards your lifestyle and how much of that cash flow we can implement towards achieving your financial goals.
Okay, that makes sense.
Income tax, so while we don't do taxes, what we can do is look at the rules that the IRS lay out and make sure that we're making decisions around your financial situation in a very tax efficient manner. So we always want to be able to take advantage of the tax code that benefit you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Major purchase goals. So I know you and Madeline just bought a nice big house. Maybe, and I know you're actively involved in acquiring more real estate.
Yep.
So maybe putting a plan together around how you want to acquire more of those properties.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, we just talked about potentially purchasing something in the mountains, and
Nice.
that's something that we don't know if we can afford or even how to go about doing that. So
Perfect.
that'll be helpful to kind of think through how it fits in the picture.
Awesome. Would that be one
Yeah,
of
that would definitely be something that I would want to
high
spend some
priority?
time.
Perfect.
Yep.
Retirement. I know right now you're in the accumulation phase.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of what we do is really look 30 years into the future, and when we look at retirement, we want to be able to create multiple streams of income for you. And the sooner we start using that retirement lens to plan out how we're going to accumulate assets, we can really get back into that tax efficiency and make sure that those assets we're accumulating can be used in multiple different facets, retirement one of them.
Okay.
So
This is one I think too that I'll definitely need some help with, because I don't have a clue how much money I should be saving. And
gotcha.
whenever I look at my 401k, it just target something is what I'm in. I don't even know what that means. So I'll
Gotcha.
need a lot of help with that.
Yeah, we'll definitely be able to shed a lot of light there. Education goals, I know maybe some college savings, how you and Madeline feel about college will definitely be something worth discussing, and making sure that we have a plan in place that really meets your philosophical standard.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that sounds great.
Estate analysis. So when we look at estate analysis, much in the same way that we partner up with CPAs for our taxes, we partner up with attorneys for all of the legal documentation around an estate plan.
Okay.
But ultimately, what we want to do is make sure that the assets that you continue to build up go to the people that you want them to go to, and we do that in the most tax efficient manner possible.
Okay. Sounds great.
And then the final plan is risk mitigation. Like, what happens if you or Madeline were to become permanently disabled? You know, God forbid either of you get hit by the 16th Street Mall bus while you're shopping, you know, that type of stuff. Right?
Okay. Do you do life insurance?
We do.
Okay.
And
That's
so-
something we've been talking about as well.
Perfect. Yeah, that'll be part of the holistic analysis of where some of the gaps might exist and how much life insurance you should have, and we'll measure all of that and come back to you with a good report that details it.
That sounds great. It looks like we have a bunch of things that we'll need to talk about.
Yeah, I'm excited. Glad to be able to work with you guys. We'll get on the calendar and go from there.
Sounds great. Thanks,
All right.
Jay.
Thanks, TJ.